Good morning. My name is Brianna, and today I'm here with Isabel, Ariana, and Sydney, and we are here to speak to you about fertility treatments and the need for them to be covered under all medical insurances. Did you know that 33% of women have turned to fertility treatments or personally know someone who has? Many of these couples have out-of-pocket expenses greater than $10,000. Currently, about 1 in 7 couples have difficulties in conceiving. By the year 2025, almost 10 million couples will be encountering problems in having a baby. The need for fertility treatments are only going to become greater, and I'm sure the prices will increase with the demand. Without insurance coverage, many couples will not be able to afford the extreme costs. A close friend of mine and her husband have been affected by their insurance not covering their infertility treatment. She was able to open up to me and discuss the general cost for the treatment. They have currently spent greater than $12,000 to conceive their 2 children, with a few failed attempts which still required payment. If it weren't for them being able to take out a loan, they would not have been able to join parenthood, which is a sad reality for so many couples. Conceiving and pregnancy alone are both so stressful, not to mention all of the costs in preparing for a new baby team. Insurance coverage would be a blessing and remove the financial burden of infertility treatments. First, we have Isabel speaking about what fertility treatments are and the need for them.
Thank you. To begin with, why fertility treatment should be covered under all insurances, we must first understand what it is. Fertility is being able to conceive a child under natural conditions, but it always can't be that easy. There are many people in our world that can't be lucky and conceive a child naturally. This can be due to multiple complications. When this happens, it means they're infertile. If this person or couple decides that they still want to have a baby, then this is the point where fertility treatment is needed. Going through this would mean going through any treatment or medical procedure that is used to increase the likelihood of conceiving a child. According to National Health Services, their website mentions there are multiple treatments people can have. Some that are included are medicines, surgical procedures, and assisted conceptions. While there is treatment, it can still be extremely difficult to have a child, and without insurance, financial expenses will surely add up. There are still many people who go through fertility treatments just to have a child, and if we never go through it, we can often forget just how many individuals or couples actually need this. In an article written by Rachel Burovich, she says, both men and women can experience infertility. I also think it's important to mention that because it's not only women who can experience it, men do too. And it just adds to how common it actually is. The Cleveland Clinic has reports that says about 10% of males in the United States who are attempting to conceive suffer from infertility. Chances of female infertility is nearly the same and just shows how much fertility treatment should be covered under all insurances. According to the CDC, about 10% of women in the United States ages 15 to 44 have difficulty getting pregnant or staying pregnant. Considering how difficult it can be to deal with infertility and how many people need it, insurance companies should be covering fertility treatments for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabel. Next, we have Ariana speaking about the extreme prices of treatment.
Have you ever thought about people in this world that are incapable of reproducing? Some people are willing to go to the end of the world to fill one empty spot in their life. And I would know. I have a godmother that struggles with this, and she did everything possible to get what she wanted. But why should they have to? Humans are paying out of pocket for something they have no control over whatsoever. Pregnancy is something a lot of women look forward to, and men as well. But these fertility treatments that are supposed to help them are way too expensive, and some aren't even covered by insurance, meaning they're paying thousands of dollars out of pocket. You think gas prices are high? You have no idea. American Society of Reproductive Medicine states that just medicine alone could cost as much as $1,182. And IVF could range from $20,000 to $40,000, depending on the egg transfer. And out of 50 states, Did you know that only 19 states provide some type of fertility coverage? Location is the most important when it comes to fertility treatment, but travel could be a lot on top of treatments. Even though some costs are covered in some states, in other locations, prices could vary. And that's depending on the doctor and the course of treatment. And there are so many options that could help with the fertility process, but they range from low as $50 to $13,500. And that's not including the IVF that I mentioned previously. And how many people do you think are out here with a happy outcome? People get their hopes up just to be let down in the end. It is not 100% success rate and nothing even close. The Washington Post states that any number of obstacles can delay the process. And it also mentions that a baby is not guaranteed. Yet you are put through so much just to see if you are disappointed in the end. It is said to be 33% of women and 9% of men that have turned to fertility treatments. And do you think that just because some people haven't had a successful process that they aren't charged? Well, they are, and that is outrageous. I have thought about it a lot, and I feel as if fertility treatment should be treated like a case in court. Some lawyers advertise a rule that basically you don't have to pay them unless you win the trial. And think about it. People can be told the prices, they can be saving throughout the treatment process, and if they don't have a good outcome, then they don't have to pay. If they do, of course, they'll pay for what they received. This way, I feel like it's a win-win. People are out here paying way more than they were expected because they were trying various treatments with little to no luck. And that can honestly be draining on a human's mental and physical health and can run their pockets dry. Yes, some people are covered. Yes, some people have the funds to pay for whatever their heart may desire. But these are not like BBLs. They aren't just changing the way the person looks at themselves, but these treatments are changing the way a person feels about themselves and how they look at the world. A fertility treatment can be life-changing, whether it's making someone extremely broke in the end or super happy with a new outlook on life. And why not make a happy ending? Humans didn't ask to be infertile or incapable of reproducing, so why make them suffer? There are so many ways to get money to support the ones in need. And we know this, so why not try to reduce heartache and at least lower the prices to something that's more affordable or take them away altogether?
Thank you, Ariana. Next, we have Sydney speaking about the factors related to infertility.
Thank you, Rihanna. Infertility is deeper than simply not being able to conceive. It has a lot to do with our genetic makeup and our underlying causes. When we think of infertility, we typically turn our attention to the females, but not all the time is the female the root of the issue. More and more doctors are noticing men with decreased sperm count. So if infertility is becoming more of a genetic disposition, then why isn't it being covered under insurance? Currently, all pre-existing conditions should be covered under insurance. If underlying causes create infertility, then why are they not covered? For example, PCOS, also known as polycystic ovarian syndrome, affects 12% of women of the reproductive age in the United States alone. That's around 5 million women. According to the CDC, break it down even further than that, one of 10 women diagnosed with PCOS. So what is PCOS, you might ask? Well, it's a hormonal imbalance that causes an overall effect of being insulin resistant, effective weight gain, high testosterone levels, and facial hair growth, resulting in high risk factors like ovarian and uterus cancer, not being able to conceive or hold a viable pregnancy, high blood pressure, and irregular menstruation. Scientists have found through recent studies with mice, PCOS is a genetic trait that can be passed down into the mother's womb. Katrina Zimmer wrote an article on PCOS stating up to 70% of women's daughters with PCOS will also develop it. A study published this week in Cell Metabolism suggests that mice can pass down PCOS-like symptoms for at least 3 generations. Another underlying diagnosis for infertility is endometriosis. This is a very painful disorder where the tissue that is normally lining the uterus grows outside of the uterus. It affects your ovaries, fallopian tubes, and tissues that line the pelvis, which are all vital parts in the reproductive process. Not to mention, when you're on your cycle, you endure severe cramping, causing some women to not be able to do anything but lay in the fetal position. According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, 10% of women 25 to 40 years of age are affected by endometriosis. Corey Willen wrote an article with new research for endometriosis. He says a 2020 study trusted source has found a new potential genetic mutation related to endometriosis. The ARID1A mutation has been associated with more severe forms of the disease, and researchers are studying potential genetic treatments to target this mutation. While women play a big role in the conceiving process, let's not forget about the men. According to a Newsweekly article, sperm count in the Western men has fallen by over 50% between 1973 and 2011. Well, why is this? Could it be our environment, what generations have been consuming over the decades, alcohol, drugs, obesity? So many questions and yet very few answers. Kate Kelland wrote an article called Sperm Counting Dropping in Western Men, states researchers say falling sperm count has previously been linked to various factors, such as exposure to certain chemicals and pesticides, smoking, stress, and obesity. When couples go through fertility process at a firm, all possible tests are run. A semen analysis and physical exam are first. From there, a fertility specialist can suggest genetic testing to understand any genetic abnormalities that might be in factor. Underlying conditions are covered under insurance, but then why, when it comes to fertility, underlying conditions like PCOS, endometriosis, and decreased sperm count, it's not covered? To diagnose one of these syndromes is to cover, but not to treat. Is it for the healthcare industry to collect more money like they do with cancer? Now, let me remind you, these three syndromes are only a few in the endless list of underlying conditions that affect fertility. According to research analysis, a unique view on male infertility around the globe, 48.5% of a million couples struggle with infertility. If that number isn't alarming, I don't know what is. The news media says we are at an all-time low for producing kids. Well, I wonder why. Unaffordable and uninsured.
Thank you, Sydney. As you have learned here today, many women and men face fertility issues, and in turn are faced with the outrageous costs not covered by their insurances. I hope you now understand how important and life-changing it could be for so many couples if only fertility treatments were to be covered under all medical plans. Whether you struggle with infertility yourself or have a close friend or family member going through this battle, it's never easy. Together, we can advocate and spread awareness of the importance of insurance coverage. Thank you.